What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of ShadowZone Paranormal Podcast. And we have got a doozy of a podcast tonight. These people are fantastic. They're all the way from Virginia, Spirit Guides Paranormal. And let me tell you, these guys work wonders. They're completely our type of people. And I can't wait for this. And as you can tell by his absence, my co-host is not with us tonight, unfortunately. But that is okay. I can fly solo and still pull it off. So, without any further ado, let's bring on the spirit guides and see what everybody's talking about. Well, hi there, folks.
Hey, Brian.
How we doing tonight?
Awesome. It's a great Yule.
Very good Yule, I must agree, sir. Must agree. So, what are y'all's names?
I'm Donnie.
And I'm Christy.
Donnie and Christy.
Parker.
It is very nice to meet you, and welcome to the ShadowZone Paranormal.
Thank you for having us.
Looks like we got Cody from Taps saying hello, everybody.
Hey, Cody.
Good to meet you, Cody. Never met you. Glad you're here, and hope you're going to have fun, buddy, because that's what it's all about. So, Donnie and Christy, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Well,
we're a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. We're actually the co-founders.
We're the founders of Spirit Guides.
Spirit Guides. There are 7 people in Spirit Guides, so you're just getting 2 of us.
Because we're scattered.
I've always been a firm believer.
4 winds.
I've always been a big believer in big teams, actually. When I had my team here in Spokane, we were 13. And then we formed into a super team with a couple other people from Arizona, and now we're up to 18.
Nice.
Awesome.
We're all Virginia folks, but we range from... We're kind of on the southern edge of Northern Virginia, and we've got folks all the way down to the North Carolina border.
Oh, wow. So your team is really spread out.
We really are.
Cover Virginia.
That's great. I mean, do you guys get together very often, like all 7 of you for investigations, or?
It's not that often that all of us do. Actually, Brian, we're actually 9, but we've got 2 who are not active all the time. But
one's an injured reserve, and one's trying to retire himself.
Yeah, we won't let them go entirely, though. We tell them they're always part of Spirit Guides anytime they want to be. So.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
That's our historian Richard, and our pendulum queen Krista is recovering from her knee.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
So, what is it that you guys do in Virginia?
Well, we do private homes, and we help other teams with raising money for historic locations, and we do our own events with raising money for historic locations.
Yeah, and we go and investigate the big, well-known places too, just because we really enjoy doing it. But I think our heart is most of all in our fundraising and helping people out.
Yeah, and I think that's fantastic. I'm a firm believer in helping people out as well. The Spokane area, there's really not a lot of people that want paranormal help. They kind of look at me and laugh, and all the really haunted places up here are higher end restaurants and hotels, and we don't want to be known for our paranormal.
That happens.
We get that here too.
We do. We're kind of sitting right in the middle of where so much of the Civil War happened.
I'm going to be
Revolutionary even.
tonight under my bed.
And lots of Native American stuff. So there's just a lot.
I'm going to need some snacks.
Yeah, the Native American stuff is there's a lot of that up here too. We have what we call the horse slaughter camp, and that's when the English settlers went in, and they thought if they killed 800 horses of the Native Americans, that it would get them to flee or to get them to stop attacking. And honestly, all it did was piss them off.
God, no doubt about it.
And then they moved Chief Gary's grave from where he was buried down by the river into an actual cemetery. And that really got the Native Americans stirring again. So we have a couple Native American curses on our town, along with a couple of gypsy curses.
Damn, man, that's not good.
No.
Any
double barrel trouble.
Yeah. So is the curse doing its thing?
Oh yeah, this town sucks.
Damn. Damn. Yeah, that's serious. Has anyone tried to lift them? Lift the curses?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I know a lot of people where they did do the curses. We have that spot. It's called Suicide Bridge, and people will actually be walking across this bridge, and the next thing you know, they just plunge right off the bridge. We've had in 10 years probably about 150 deaths due to jumping off this bridge.
Wow. Did they jump or were they pushed?
That is the question.
Wow.
So you guys say you do fundraisers. What kind of fundraisers do you guys do, and for what kind of charities?
It's not so much a charity as we
like to restore historic locations.
Yeah.
And help with doing that. And plus putting someone back on the map.
Yeah. We're the stewards of a location called the Fleetwood Church. It's a very old in Brandy Station, Virginia, which is about 10 minutes from where we live. The old Fleetwood Church is on the site of, it's adjacent to the site of the largest cavalry battle of the Civil War, the Battle of Brandy Station.
Beginning of Gettysburg campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. They did the Brandy Station battle on the way to Gettysburg. Brandy Station got its name because it was an old railroad station where they would serve brandy, and there was a sign outside that said Brandy, so it became Brandy Station. It's a tiny little town, very old, very beautiful, kind of fallen down. So we've taken up the cause of this one old decommissioned church. It was built in 1880, became a Episcopal, established in 1881 as an Episcopal Methodist church. And the early 1970s, at some point, they decommissioned it and took the folks who went to church there to another church in a local nearby town.
And we're not sure how many graves were left behind.
Yeah.
The people who got it later supposedly bulldozed all the headstones towards railroad tracks, and there's only one remaining, and that's the one of Gertrude Rice.
And it's totally in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So there's the question of who remains there in kind of what appears to be a really botched job of moving the gravestones. Also, there's an old Civil War hospital that was used for many things. It was right on the railroad tracks like the church is. And it was a general store, a post office, a brothel, many things, but then also a Civil War hospital. And it's very, very close. It neighbors to the Fleetwood Church.
And the floor is still covered in blood. We checked it with luminol.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So this place, you could check your mail, get your groceries, find yourself a lady, and go to the hospital all at the same time.
Over a period of time, yeah, if you were there long enough.
Yeah, if you were there long enough, you definitely could.
Wow.
You know, per dowsers and psychics and investigations, there are
Still bodies buried there.
still Civil War graves there. There's no doubt a boneyard from the amputations. The whole area is just crazy haunted. Crazy haunted. So we investigated that building, and then the lady who was managing it at the time, because it was an established place, said you should go down and talk to the fella that owns the Fleetwood Church and see if he would be interested in letting you investigate. So we did, and we went down there and investigated it, and just really fell in love with the place.
And they fell in love with us.
Yeah,
The ghosts.
that too.
It's got to be because of your ghoulish good looks there, Donnie.
That's what it is.
Actually, there was some excavation going on at the other place, and they brought it down to the church. And this is before I grew the beard. I hadn't been there for a while. Went to the church to check out some new gear. And the little girl jumped up on a table, punched me in the head enough to give me a headache. After slamming the door, it made me go look at that, which there was no wind, and the door slammed. The church got bone chilling cold. It gave me one heck of a headache that lasted about 2 days.
Well, it was kind of crazy because the guy doing excavation was probably doing things he shouldn't have been, like looking for artifacts.
It was relic hunting.
Right. So when we went down to the church, we didn't realize at the time that
All
Donnie
that was going down.
probably looked like that fellow. We had just gotten an SLS camera. So a former team member of our and I were inside playing with it, and there was a little girl next to us that you could see. I know SLSs are squirrely. They will map all kinds of things that aren't there. But this one, she actually was. There was
If
nothing else
interested,
that
we'll
it could
share
have
the
been.
video with you.
Yeah, there was nothing else that could have been mapping. So you could see her, and she's touching my arm and touching my hair. And we knew who this little girl was. She's a well-known spirit down there. And then Donnie walks in. Well, the door slams really hard. So he went outside to see if there was any living person that could explain this. And there wasn't. And he comes back in, and on the SLS, you can see the spirit who had been standing right next to me jump up, leap across the table that was in front of us, get up in front of him, and she's just whanging him in the head. Boom, boom, and hitting him right here.
On the SLS, it's like some of Star Wars. It's like triangular. Boom, boom.
Looks like he was hitting him with a lightsaber.
I thought I was going to have a goose egg, but I didn't have one.
But you had a headache.
Yeah, I did have a headache.
It was crazy.
Terry O says, hello all. How are the renovations going? And
Terry!
hello, Caps.
Terry, we actually have a new steeple.
Hey, did you see the pictures? We did it. The steeple's up.
That is awesome, you guys. You know, the places around here, you know, speaking of graves that shouldn't be there, we had a fire. It's called the Great Fire of Spokane. Took place in 1892, and it burnt down pretty much all of Spokane, which was downtown. It started in a kitchen, actually, grease fire from one of the restaurants, and they took everything, and supposedly nobody died in this fire. But they took everything, bulldozed it off the cliff into the river, and made 6 more city blocks out of it. And then decided to tear down a Native American grave site and build apartment complexes.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to cause a problem.
No, not at all. This town is so messed up on their history that it just boggles me how this town even thrives still.
Yeah. Well, to go back to what you had originally asked, so we've been working with Fleetwood a lot, and over the past few years, we, along with our friends from Transcend, mostly got the Fleetwood Paracon started. So We didn't do a Paracon in 2021, but we did the 2019 and 2020 Fleetwood Paracon, and we've got one coming up in 2022, which should be bigger than ever. We do a psychic fair there every year.
Now we did it first one last year.
Last year
took off. Everybody loved it.
Yeah, so we're doing it 2 days.
We actually took like your sister, the clairvoyant,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of paranormal people try to separate. But we decided we're going to be the rebels. We're bringing it together the way it should be.
Yeah. So
the way it used to be, and it took off.
There's a lot of crossover. So we're going to have a 2-day psychic fair at Brandy Station. And if I don't completely lose my mind and drive my team crazy, we're also going to do the Spirits of Brandy Station investigation event. We are able to, hopefully again this year, bring people to the Brandy Station battlefield as well, which is very, very cool.
Well, I would be fascinated in helping you guys out with this. And I have a couple of inside people that I can talk to about maybe showing up at the fair to add just a little more spice to it.
Awesome.
And
we do a lot of spicy things at their fairs.
If you guys can shoot me the address of where the fair is going to be and when.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's May 14th and 15th this year. Absolutely do. We're going to push it a little bit further this year. It's going to be like a mini Ren fair on top of being a fair.
I love it. I love the whole concept of this. The paranormal short sessions, Keith Evans says, hello, Brian. Hello, Keith. And Terry O wants to know, where is Merlin?
Merlin's at home.
She's doing her thing. It's just us tonight. Merlin's 2 hours from us, Terry, so unfortunately we can't always get her, but Merlin's doing well.
So you say you guys do the home investigations.
Yes.
What has been your top 3 most scariest home investigations you've done?
Brian, we're hard to scare. We're really
but,
okay, what have been your...
We investigated one location that I am no longer allowed to do base readings by myself in the house. Because I was doing the base readings, doors were closing on me, yada, yada, yada. But I'm coming down the stairs to go tell everybody what I had going down. Before I get hit the bottom of the stairs, I was thrown off the staircase. Lost 2 feet. 2 feet out. Wrenched my ankle. The funny part was Christy sensed it. Was looking through the sliding glass door. I'm beside the couch. I'm like cussing this ghost going, all right, you know why we're here. And now it's on. You're going to get out of here. And then I get hobbling out there. She goes, what happened? I said, yeah, it's on.
I looked through the window and there he is on the ground.
So, oh, wow.
But the gear was safe. I didn't break anything on the fall.
Honestly, things like that very seldom.
Well, that's all that matters, right? Is the gear was safe.
That's right.
Some expensive stuff, man. When you do home investigations, it's a matter of letting people know who's in there. And more often than not, they can peacefully coexist.
All you got to do is bridge the communication gap. And we've done that quite a bit. And everybody's got their renovations done and been able to paint the house and noises stop. And we don't like this door closed. Well, don't close that door. They don't like the door closed. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the activity stops.
That's fascinating. So you guys actually go in and you help people with their paranormal and are able to tell them, what they like, what they don't like, and how to coexist with the spirits in the house.
Yeah, if they want it, yeah. And if they're nasties and we detect that, we ask them what they want done.
Yeah. I think more often than not, most of the people that have asked us to help them out have been, oh, okay, that's all good then.
As long as we know what's going on.
Yeah. A couple of times there have been some that have been problematic. But more often than not, it's somebody that lived there before. It's somebody's relative.
They didn't like that wall color that they decided to paint the wall and got rid of the wallpaper that was there for 100 years. Stuff like that.
There's spirits everywhere. You know this. You're a paranormal investigator. They're everywhere.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I've been in the field for about 9 years now, going on 9 years.
Dad, it's going good so far in there.
Okay.
Want to come check it out?
So, have you guys ran across your fair share of any poltergeists or demons or anything like that?
We'd rather not call them demons. We'd rather call them nasties.
That's a good word for them, nasties. I like that.
If you call them a
That's
demon,
good.
you're giving them more strength than they should have.
I mean,
Giving them more credit than they deserve.
Exactly.
sometimes, yeah. I mean, we've run into a few that aren't real pleasant. Poltergeist activity, I tend to think of is sometimes coming from the living. A lot of people. Well, how do you define poltergeist activity? And I'll answer you. Is it definitely an entity? Because sometimes there are folks that say that it's coming from like an adolescent living person will sometimes make things fly through the air,
Going through puberty and stuff like that.
Yeah, and cause problems. But not everybody defines it that way.
I can actually agree with that one. I do believe that some people can cause their own activity in the house.
Yeah,
We just did a house like that.
we did.
But the problem was, it wasn't really them. The environment that they were living in had such an energy field coming from the earth itself. The EMF level was 5 foot off the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And stayed in the center and all around the house.
Yeah.
That's where it started, on every floor in that house. And with the troubles they were going through, and this time of year, it was kind of spiking that way to the negative. But not to the point that was that bad. It was just enough like, hey, something's going on. We're watching. We're taking care of you. And that's what we let the folks know, and then told them how to reduce the EMF in the house
and deal
fun
with
stuff.
Although a friend of mine right now, and this is something we're just talking about even tonight, seems to have she's got a whole bunch of kids, a whole bunch of foster kids, and they're all at that age where the general angst of having a bunch of kids in the house is just kind of jacking things up. So there's so many things that can happen.
So many factors.
It's all energy. I think we've maybe run into more unpleasant things in some of the public places around here. Have you ever heard of St. Albans Sanitarium?
I have.
That's got nastier over the years. And we're starting to think it might be because everybody's projecting a negative entity in there that is growing and feeding off of it.
Yeah.
Sort of like the old folklore.
St. Albans is something else. Of course, we're going back in April.
Yeah. We shall return.
They have EnigmaCon, but
Keith Evan wants to know, have you guys ever came across any doppelgangers?
yes. Actually, one of the first full bodies that I have ever seen was a doppelganger of the fellow that owns the Fleetwood Church.
Yes. We thought he was out front, but he wasn't.
We thought he was there. And
so we turned around to go see, and he wasn't.
And he wasn't. And the thing is, okay, this fella he kind of has an outfit that he is known for, right? And especially when he works on the place, he wears it all the time. And I saw his doppelganger, and he was wearing something slightly different. I was like, did you see that? And our other Merlin, our other team member, she got a glimpse of him too. Did you see him too?
I sensed him.
You sensed him, but and I saw him, and he was
wearing. I was driving.
That's right, and he was wearing something entirely different. And then not too long later, he showed up, and he was wearing the same damn thing. But that was the only doppelganger we've ever run into that I'm aware of. Can you think of any others?
Wow.
That was really
He tried to run into mine. He showed up at a few powwows.
And looks like Jabberwocky says I'm here.
That's
Hello,
Merlin. Hi, Merlin.
Hello, Merlin. Welcome to the show.
Merlin
You know,
is our psychic medium. She
oh,
is
okay.
unbelievably gifted.
All right, Merlin, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. What is it? I always like to mess around with psychics like that. They're fun. I love psychics.
They come back at you with a number.
She might, or
I know, right?
you had a
If
spirit.
it's the number I'm thinking of, I'm in trouble. So to touch back on the energy in houses, we did our first investigation, and we had nothing more than 3 little flip phones. They record 10 minutes at a time. You have to take 10 minutes out to go over them. And we could take, 5 photographs a piece. Long and short of it, we captured a bunch of Class A EVPs. I was called out by my name, physically attacked twice, pinned down. And it all stemmed from how much the couple fought in that house.
That's what we were talking about.
And the little girl that was in that house was the one reaping the punishment, getting yanked out of bed by her feet and getting the blankets torn off of her. I mean, these guys, they wouldn't get physical, but man, it was knock down, drag them out, every name in the book. I don't want to be here. I'm uncomfortable type of fighting. And come to find out, they gathered so much strength in that house that we found a portal, a gatekeeper who would let them come in but not come out. And there was several pissed off spirits in that house.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the one old lady who would always make the freshly baked bread.
She was
I love coming over when that smell.
You are spot on, Brian, from our experiences too. When you get a place with a lot of bad energy that the living are flinging around, and it tends to attract them. We're dealing with that right now. Our last private investigation dealt with that. A friend of mine that we've been talking to, the one with all the kids, she's dealing with that right now. I think a lot of folks don't realize what they do has a huge effect.
It's not always opposite attract.
No, it's not opposite. It's like, if you've got some really nasty energy flying around, you're going to attract the nasty energy.
Oh, exactly. Shirley Ann Spencer says, "Hi guys, I'm here too."
Hi, Shirley.
Hey, there's another member of ours.
Shirley Ann's also a member of our team.
We almost got the whole team on here, guys. We got 6 out of the 7.
We got a couple more.
I mean, we should name off our team. There's the 2 of us: Merlin Bradbury, Shirley Ann Spencer, DC O'Rourke,
Richard Deardoff, semi-retired.
Yes,
Krista Harris, Benjamin Queen,
semi-retired. Timothy
Balky, paranormal paparazzi. I don't know how he does it, but that man can aim a camera and pick up a shadow.
I know. He does.
A mist, whatever that ain't there. And we do it with burst pictures, and he'll pick something up there.
You take like 3 in a row and you'll get one that has something in it and 2 that don't. I swear, Tim picks up the camera and they go, "Hi, we're here."
Got a pose for you.
And then we have Denise Smith. Another historian.
Yeah.
And she's sort of a medium in her own right.
Yeah. Yeah. We've and Kim Toon is our latest addition.
Acquired.
So 4 of our members are Reiki masters too.
Reiki masters.
Reiki masters.
Yeah.
What's the definition of that?
We move energy.
Yeah.
Move energy. Really?
We use the universal energy to heal.
That is fascinating.
and it actually has made us targets for the spirit world.
Yeah.
I bet you guys got a pretty bright beacon going off about you.
Yeah, we got tagged for doing a few things.
Yeah. Well,
We release
it
spirits.
does. When it's appropriate, we'll let them out. And Reiki helps with that. You don't need to be a Reiki master to be able to help the spirits out, but it does help. And I'm sure you know this too, Brian. I'm sure they know you on the other side too, because when you play over there, they get to know you, right? So.
Oh yeah. You know, when we go to a client's house, you know, it's always, you know, I'm Brian. I'm not here to disrespect you or anything. You know, we just want to communicate. We want to figure out what you want. Can we help you cross over? You know, and if we get them nasties, you know, we'll just sage the hell out of the place and open up a window and say bye-bye.
Exactly.
The very first investigation that we ever did, we didn't think we got anything. We came home, we got a Class A EVP, and it really taught us something that we remember to this day, and we always do.
We enter a place with respect as if we're entering somebody's home.
And we introduce
ourselves, because we got done. We thought we were done with the place. There's another Civil War hospital.
In Brandy
Place
Station.
was built in the 1700s.
Yep.
2 young children were buried in the backyard with headstones. And the family asked me to smudge the house before I left. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I'm smudging. We had no activity in this one room. I've done pretty much the whole house except for this one room. I walk in there, and I call it the ghost tingles. Sort of my spider senses go off. You get this cold tingling like your legs are about to go to sleep.
Yep.
Me. And I'm walking through. I'm like, Christy? She's like, yeah, come in there. What do you feel? Oh, you done stirred up something. So the other girls come in. This was back when we were the 3 B's and an A. And I'm rolling along. And I'm running out of my smudge stuff. So I'm the only male in the house. So I go to another part of the house to refill my shell to start again. They're going with the investigation. They're asking questions. We didn't know that we were getting answers or EVPs until we got home, but he's answering questions. Then all of a sudden there's this voice that comes out, who's in the room?
It's one of the best.
And that's when we heard that, it's like, damn, we're rude.
You know, we're standing in this man's living room in his house. And it hadn't occurred to us yet in our first investigation that we needed to tell him who we are. So
and ever since we've done that, they start talking.
We always, you know, tell them who we are and why we're there, and that, I mean, we mean no harm.
Yeah,
ever.
They already know that.
So,
and if they're bad, they already know what we're there for.
But it was a lesson we learned on our very first investigation ever. But it's the coolest EVP. Still to this day, one of the best we've ever gotten. You can hear a Southern accent. It's really, it was a good lesson.
It took me until my 3rd year to learn my big lesson about fully respecting them. See, I walked into a hospital called St. Ignatius up in Colfax, which is about an hour north of us. And we were on the cusp of our own TV show on Channel 14. And the mayor was there with us. We were getting into buildings that nobody else has ever been into. And I kind of got the chip on my shoulder. So I walk into this hospital not even knowing what's in there, not even bothering finding out what's in there. And I start spouting off. I start challenging every spirit in the hospital. And we get up to the surgical ward, and I look at my teammate and I said, "Hey, watch this." I said, "This is the surgeon that killed you. I want you to do something to him. I want you to hit him, kick him, scratch him, bite him." Nothing happened to him. After everything was all said and done, we go to drop off our last bit of camera footage and all that onto our laptop. And we put the card in there. We go to open the file. Guess what that file said?
Lord only knows.
It was corrupt.
It said empty. Everything we filmed for the past 4 days, we had enough evidence to make Ghost Adventures look like little girls skipping in the schoolyard. And we have nothing. So we have to tell the lady, Valerie, about this, and she is completely PO'd. And we come back home and come to find out I got a demonic attachment. For the next 6 months, it ruined my team to the ground. The TV show went out the window. Bad luck all over the place. Almost cost me my marriage. 6 blessings and 3 sagings later, I finally get this thing off of me. I learned my lesson real quick. Like
We learned here recently from quite a few of the adventures that we've had. Have you heard of the Hinsdale House?
oh yeah,
We headed up there in Wildwood.
Yeah.
Right? And one of our team members had an attachment. And we could tell by the way he was acting and the look in his
Very
eyes in a
like
couple
him.
pictures was not like him.
Yeah.
So it took us to come home, and then we all had to talk to him. And we have a person now. She's the person.
But at the time, I wasn't the person yet.
Well, she wasn't the person at that point.
Yeah.
To scan for entities
And
of
remove.
the team and remove them. So now another thing we do.
But at the you after a while you get used to it, and you can kind of.
If you know your
Tell
team
even without-
members, you can tell when somebody's a little bit
Yeah.
off by the way they look,
Eyes.
the way they act.
It's often.
oh yeah. You know, the first investigation we did, my partner Rick shined a flashlight in my face, and he could see right away it wasn't me. And I balled up my fist. I drew back, and I about knocked his socks off. And I stopped, and I was like, okay, guys, I got to get out of this house for a minute. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette. I'm going to go chill out. You guys continue to do what you do. And that was kind of the first telltale sign, that I needed to get out.
I mean, things can happen.
But we all get it.
I've been at a location where there was one time in particular where I have memory blanks. I started crying uncontrollably. He had to get me out of there before. I mean, it was not good. It was not good.
It's a couple times.
Yeah, it happens. You can't underestimate this sort of thing.
No, but you got to pay attention to your teammates
You do.
because you don't know who they're going to latch on to.
Yeah.
I always agree with the
when
buddy
we're off.
Yeah.
Now you definitely got to have the buddy system going.
And we've come a long way in the past few years. I think when we first started this, like a lot of newbies, we were very naive. Try not to be naive now, but there's a line to walk between knowing that you've learned a lot and not being overconfident. There's always more to learn. There's always more to learn. And there's not a single person out there who can say they know everything about what's going on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even the 25-year investigator can say, oh, well, I know everything there is to know. No, you don't, dude.
John,
I've been in this field for 9 years, and I learn new stuff on a daily.
Oh, yeah.
but we met a gentleman, we kind of call him friend, John Tenney. Have you heard of him?
The name sounds familiar.
He's
An interesting dude.
up north, East
It's
Coast.
Chicago. Isn't he from
Yeah, something like
Chicago?
that.
I think
He's
from
up north.
Chicago.
But we met him, and he was an interesting character. He made you think about more and more of what's going on all the way around.
Yeah.
And I forgot where I was going with that.
I don't know where you were going with that. Something about Tenney. He's a smart dude, though. He's a very smart dude.
Yeah, that's one thing I love is I love talking to investigators that have, that 20, 25 years experience, just to listen to their stories. It just fascinates me.
We have some stories to tell.
It's an incredibly fascinating thing to get into. If you have the fortitude to hang with it, it's physically grueling as well as mentally taxing.
Well, people
you're
think
up all night long, and
but people think what they see on TV is what happens.
It's really not.
You spend more time sitting in a dark room, listening, feeling, using your intuition and everything else, waiting for something to happen. And then when it does, game on. Everybody's whoop. Then when you capture something, you're hooked.
Yeah. Have you heard of the Transalligani Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia?
Actually, yes. Me and my newfound foundation, we're making a trip from Phoenix, Arizona, and we're going to be heading all the way down to Gettysburg and actually going all the way across country. And Transalligani is on our list.
Oh,
awesome.
You should go.
Wear comfortable shoes.
That was my point of it being really hard. The place is half a mile long. Okay, you walk in the center, and it's got
4 floors, and it
with
splits
2
off
parallel halls on each floor. You can literally walk miles and miles and miles.
You can start from the center, walk one ward, be the women's ward, turn, be the men's ward. But you can't come back to the middle that way. You have to go all the way back around.
Oh, wow.
Every floor.
It being half a mile long. We were there from 8 o'clock at night until 5 o'clock in the morning.
I think they let us out at 6.
At 6 o'clock in the morning. And
we had to buy stuff.
Didn't even get to one of the floors. We did.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the basement.
Fascinating place. I can't wait to go back. We were relative newbies when we did Transalligani, and I really want to go back with her.
We got some good evidence.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. I mean, it's in.
We got a wee little YouTube page with some of her great videos she put together from her evidence.
Oh, I suck at videos.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Stop it.
You want to talk about horrible YouTube videos? Besides these podcasts, I am not technologically savvy at all. I've erased more investigations trying to piece them together than I have actually successfully pieced anything together.
She's done pretty damn good so far.
We need a good tech person. We do, to do our videos. But
we're working on it.
We have an amazing team. We always have, but I think we've an amazing team, and we need somebody who can put that on video, and that person is not me.
The circle of all souls have gathered. Pretty much. We just need a youngin' with tech savvy.
I know. Well, we have one youngin', but he doesn't do videos.
Man, does a hell of a podcast, huh?
He does.
Nice.
That's another one we can turn you on to.
That's true.
He actually has his own side gig.
But he does a lot of podcasts. DC O'Rourke.
Right on.
Yep.
I like a good podcast.
Hauntingly Yours.
Hauntingly Yours Paranormal plugin.
Your Phantom Bard.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice indeed. Yeah, I actually just started these podcasts about 2 months ago. I did what I called Podvember, and I did anywhere from 1 to 3 podcasts every day in the month of November.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I didn't have them all written down, so some of them got skipped, some of them forgot. So I got most of November.
Yeah.
But I have met so many fascinating people from doing these podcasts, and you guys are most definitely one of the most fascinating that I have talked to yet.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, you run a heck of a podcast. You're a natural.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, they say I should be on the radio.
Well, you got the voice for it.
My dad was actually a disc jockey when we lived in the Dalles, Oregon.
Oh,
And he went to college for it and everything. He was the voice of KACI.
Oh. Hey, you said that you were coming as close as Gettysburg. That's not that far from us. You should come down and see Fleetwood and visit us.
Oh, we plan on going to Transalligani too. So
yeah,
That's
just,
like 4 hours. But if you're at Gettysburg, that's what, 2 hours? 2 hours maybe? Seriously, come down and see us. We'll show you the Brandy Station battlefield. We'll show you the Fleetwood Church. We'd love that.
I think we will absolutely do that. I will make the suggestion to my other two founders, and I will demand it.
There you go. Please do. We would love that.
Yeah,
that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe we can pull off an investigation.
We should.
Oh, heck yeah.
We should. We
Being the stewards, we might be able to pull it off with
yeah. I think we could probably do it.
Tell me about the battlefield. I'm curious about that.
It was the known largest. It was June 9th, 1863. Lee and the group was headed north to Gettysburg. There was such a cavalry battle. Stewart had his team up there, and then the Union tried to come from Brandy Station. They got pushed back big time, and then they came back again. But there was St. James Church, which is gone. That place is awesome.
Active. It's actually the ruins of the St. James Church.
It's a ruin of a church that was taken apart the following winter, 1863, by the Union. Survived the entire battle of Brandy Station. Cannon, artillery, everything. It survived, but when they came back, they dismantled the church and made the winter camp. But there's a spirit up there in them their graveyard, which has that both have slaves and whites buried. One black gentleman, I must say, says, them boys, I won't come out and talk to you at night because them boys are rowdy.
Yeah.
And I have been up there in those woods several times by myself, and they will circle you. They will make you see things.
Pretty cool, though. When we did our last Spirit Station event, probably the favorite spot we do 3 spots on the battlefield. One of them is the ruins of the old St. James Church. What happened there was part of the Brandy Station battle. Russia's Lancers, which was a Philadelphia unit, a Pennsylvania unit, attacked the Confederates, which were slightly up on the hill where the old St. James Church was. It was a huge battle. And Merlin, who was on there, and I were down in the actual field where it happened, kind of waiting for our people to come around because we rotate the groups of guests who were investigating there. So we're waiting for these folks. And we were very, very aware of all the spirits of the soldiers around us. And of course, Merlin, I mentioned,
they circle the church like crazy.
They do. Well, they were down there moving around. Merlin's a very gifted psychic medium. She can see them extremely well. And there was this one fella on a horse. Well,
pretty boy, she calls him.
He was being very aggressive towards us. We were 2 women standing in a field. I was actually dressed up. We were both dressed up in Civil War
trigger
garb.
objects for that.
Right.
Event.
So this one guy is coming towards us on a horse and actually knocked Merlin over. Well, the next thing you know, this other fella shows a couple of guys showed up, a couple of spirits. I'm talking about spirits here, showed up and ran off the aggressive guy. So here we are, two women standing in a field, and we had our knight in shining armor was a ghost. That was just one of the coolest things that ever happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Saved by a ghost.
Can't say that very often, can you?
No, that was really cool.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if the aggressor was one of the Confederates.
You know,
No, actually,
that was,
I think it was the opposite.
yeah, I don't know. You know, it is as clearly as Merlin can see them. I don't know that she was able to tell whether who was who, but somebody was picking on a couple of women in the field, and somebody didn't like that very
Well, a
much.
Southern gentleman will not have that.
Well, that's true. That's true. You want to hear a really funny story?
Most definite.
We were on another part of the battlefield. This one it's called Fleetwood Hill. And I was using this really big speaker that I've got to make cannon sounds as a trigger object. So we're standing out there, and I was done with that, and we're just kind of waiting for the folks to come back around. And like I said, I'm in this Civil War appropriate dress with a giant hoop skirt.
And
I had this on, and Merlin was with me. And we're just kind of standing there waiting, and this guy pulls up in a pickup truck with his girlfriend, country music blaring. You know what they were probably, they're going to go up there and park, and they thought they were by themselves. And I'm thinking, man, I've got an event going on. You can't be doing this right now. So I start walking through the field towards him. It's really dark except for the moonlight. And the guy sees me walking through the field, and he must have thought that there was some ghost walking towards him.
And Marlon behind her takes her flashlight
and shines it up underneath her face.
Her vase.
Well, this guy slams his truck into reverse, goes flying backwards, and the next thing you hear is dunk. And the pickup truck went into this giant ditch. And he's trying to get the truck out, and he can't do it.
He missed the tree by a foot. Ended up in a ditch.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, we had the cops called on us.
Right?
See what we were doing up there.
And everything turned out fine there. But the cop went by this guy in the ditch. He's like, what's that truck doing in the ditch back there?
So I actually have a funny story for you as well. So we were waiting in a cemetery. We were just getting our contract signed so we could take control of 7 of the different cemeteries. We showed up about an hour early. So we decided, hey, let's go check out the mausoleum. So we go inside, and we're about halfway in, and we hear this loud bang. We're like, what the hell? We're the only people in here. So, like Scooby-Doo and the gang, we decide to go and investigate. So we go walking around and down the stairs, and all of a sudden we hear it again, but louder. Bang! I mean, loud enough to where I jumped.
You all jumped back.
And I'm like, okay, we got to find this out, man. This is going to be a great piece of evidence. We get down to the very bottom where it's just a wall in front of us and a curtain off to the right. And there's 4 of us in there. There's me, who's about 380. There's my buddy Rick, who's about 130. My buddy David, who's about 160. And our buddy James, who's about 470. And right as we go to pull this curtain back, bang! I saw my buddy James take off faster than my 130-pound buddy Rick took off. And we come to find out, we walked around the corner. You want to know what that big bang was? It was high-powered water from a sprinkler hitting the window.
Oh, wow. You got another one to debunk them.
I know. We were
Man.
We heard
We
music.
got out of there and we were shaking like this, and we find out what it was. We about fell on the floor laughing.
Yeah, Transalligani Lunatic Asylum. We're down at the end of one of the halls, and we hear this music, and we're going, "Do you hear that music? I hear me. Do you hear music?"
Well, they told us you may hear music.
And then we figured out it was from a gas station.
Yeah, the gas station down the street was louder than anything else in the area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you're thinking you got some paranormal music going on, and the next thing you know, it's the gas station next door.
It's hell when you debunk things.
I know, but you got to try, man. You got to try.
That's what we do best. We debunk ourselves, and sometimes we end up with nothing.
That happens. You never know.
Have you guys ever heard of the notorious ghost fart?
The notorious ghost fart.
The team after burritos.
Right? Oh, it can happen.
So we're in this one investigation. We called it the Ghost on Post. And we set up our camera just, out of the ordinary, just setting it up, getting ready to go in. We have it pointed towards the bathroom door, and it's this big, solid oak door. And we hear it. And it opens up. So Rick's in front of us, and right as I go to grab the door and open it, he lets out this huge fart, scaring the shit out of all of my team. And man, everybody jumped back, and man. So we now say every time somebody farts at an investigation, we call it a ghost fart.
Claiming it's a demon, I smell the sulfur.
We kind of had
I definitely smelled some rotten meat that night.
We were at Deep Creek?
Yeah, we did an investigation. It was us and another paranormal team we invited to come with us. And we were down in this boiler room, and she's standing over there, and we're all sort of in a circle.
Yeah.
She had an experiment with scented water
To see if they could
to see if we get an
sense a
EVP.
smell.
And it said smell. She goes, I'm gonna spray this. Tell me what it smells like. And we're waiting, and she goes, all of a sudden, somebody's stomach growled.
None of us really said anything because the recorder was going, and we wanted to see.
But
if
we
we
all
got
heard
an
a
EVP,
growl.
and we all heard the growl.
She thought it was one of our stomachs. We thought it was her. But the EVP came out with a name and a scent.
Right. So when she stopped recording, we were like, was it your stomach? Was it my stomach? Was it your stomach? And it turns out it was not anybody's stomach. We figured it was. But it really,
wow.
We heard it. So then we took it and
Cleaned it up
and slowed it down. And it sounded but we all just sort of defaulted to it being somebody's stomach. And at that time it wasn't.
But with her experiment, the EVP, one of the EVPs did say fruit, and she had put some citrus in a spray bottle.
Yeah, and we heard fruit.
And sprayed it, and it said fruit.
Yeah.
Nice.
We like to do some weird experiments. Yeah. We got to get those Zen cards.
That's a really unorthodox mad science type of way to investigate, and I really like that.
Yeah, that was her idea. I think that was all. Yeah, that was Lori's.
That was all Lori's idea.
So we can't take credit for it, but it was a great idea.
But we learn, and we all adapt to our own little. We do a thing with cards, thanks to Merlin.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to use Doc's cards.
Okay. So what we've tried before, and we're not the first ones to do this. I think Merlin saw it somewhere else, but she brought it in with us. We'll put cards face down on the table. And then have, somebody just pull one aside, almost like you would with a tarot card. And using some kind of ITC device, we usually use an Echovox. We see if they can tell us something about the card, the color, the suit, the number. And, sometimes they can. It's really amazing. So you got to kind of figure out how they know.
Are they under the table looking up?
Is it kind of a site? I don't know. I think they can read your mind, too. So. Yeah. Or some of them can sometimes.
Well, nobody looked at the cards.
Yeah.
But they get except for Buford.
Oh, little fella at the church. He'll tell you that he sees someone with a hat.
It's a man with a hat.
He doesn't seem to know his colors or his numbers. It's a little kid. He's about 7 years old that hangs out at Fleetwood. And he doesn't, he tells you what he can. You know, we had one was the Jack, and the Jack in the deck was wearing a hat. So we heard hat. And sure enough, the card had a hat.
And that's positive evidence, though,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, that is.
That is fantastic. So, what would you guys say your favorite investigation has been to date?
Oh man, I knew that question was coming.
Gosh, that's a tough
We've
one.
got some favorite locations.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll change it. Favorite locations.
We got Laura Inn.
Oh yeah, there's
That is a sweet place. A sweet lady runs a joint, and it is active.
it is. This is a
And
beautiful
it was
bed and
also a brothel at
breakfast
some point.
in Mineral, Virginia, called the Laura Inn. We love going there. I want to go back to Transalligani.
Yeah, we want to do that.
I mean, I think probably Brandy Station, all of Brandy Station is probably our favorite, but it's our
That's
special
local.
baby. It's our special baby.
Nice.
A lot of people really love St. Albans. You know, I treat St. Albans with tremendous respect because I think that's a place
That place is just every
It's
time
a
we've
little
gotten
dark.
there, it's gotten darker and darker
It's
every
a
time
little
we've
dark.
been there.
yeah.
Tal has always been pretty sweet.
Dallas,
we want to go back
Transalligani.
there.
Yeah.
Transalligani, we do want to make another trip back there. Another overnighter.
Yeah. What else are some of our favorite local places that we go to?
Exchange ain't bad.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Exchange Hotel, that was also a train
Gordonsville,
depot.
Virginia. Yeah.
And it was also an Army hospital. They got pictures of bodies stacked outside of there. In fact, they stacked the bodies in the train depot all the way to the ceiling. And unfortunately, some of them weren't all the way dead and died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
I don't
you
know.
can imagine being buried under dead bodies and gasping for air, and you're still alive, but you were just stuck in there.
I absolutely loved doing the Hinsdale house.
Hinsdale was
Hinsdale
awesome.
and Wildwood, that was incredible. I think, at least from my experience, as much you hear a lot about the house itself and the spirits in the house, and it's definitely awesome. But then the land is amazing. There's a lot of Native Americans.
We actually got
EVPs.
EVPs. We got a little bit there after our ceremony. We got
the lights.
EMF detectors were going off.
Oh,
and it's funny because Dawkins said something was seeing lights in the woods prior to it really getting dark. And we found out, well, okay, they got the solar lights up there. But it was all said and done. We're investigating in the house. We step outside, take a breath, have a cigarette, look around. And these little lights were running along the mountain ridge coming down. So I get on the radio, I'm like, hey, Doc, I think I found your lights. They're back. So he comes and looks, and we're watching these things, and we're using laser pointers as to where do you see them? And he goes, exactly where we see them.
And the only thing that you could really liken them to is fireflies. But we were there in April, and in upstate New York, April was freezing cold. There were no fireflies. Teeny, tiny little points of light, and we could all see them. And according to Dan Class, who owns the place, a lot of people do see them there.
And they have been recorded for centuries.
It's amazing. It's really incredible. So that was a place with a lot of
activity with the Seneca us coming Indians. From Native background, we went up there with Native attitude and did a ceremony of thank you and all under the tree with drum
and that was amazing.
It got active.
And then there's a relatively new location up there nearby called the Wildwood Sanatorium. I think that one's a sanatorium.
Yeah, that was for sick people. It's actually on a reservation.
Yeah, it's on the Seneca Reservation as well. We had a great time there as well.
Nice. Yeah. Well, you know, it sounds like there's a lot of phenomenal places that we can meet up and do.
Yeah.
And so, since we're heading to Transalligani anyways, you guys are more than welcome to come partner up with us.
Let us know when.
So cool. Please let us know when.
And then, you know, the next day, you guys can take us to a couple of places y'all know. and we can make a day or two little investigative tour out of this.
Sounds like fun.
We would love that, Brian. Absolutely. So please stay in touch. You know,
Definitely.
Oh, definite. You guys know how to get a hold of me on Facebook. I know how to get a hold of you.
Yep.
So we will definitely keep in touch.
There's a paranormal date in the future.
There absolutely is. And you're heading to Gettysburg. That is fantastic. We've been there too.
Oh, you guys are more than welcome to meet us up at Gettysburg too.
That depends when you're
Let us-
going. We're happy to.
Yeah, we'll introduce you to Matt Barron, the paranormal consultant. And
Cool.
Yeah.
he's a great person, runs a great program. He does podcasts too.
Cool.
So I'm going to be talking to him about getting you guys on his podcast as well.
Nice.
Sweet, thank you.
Not a problem. But unfortunately, it comes a time where we must end. So is there anything you would like to say to our viewers, how to get a hold of you guys, and anything else?
You can contact us at Spirit Guides Paranormal Team.
At gmail.com. Yeah, Spirit Guides
Also
Paranormal Team at gmail.com.
Also on Facebook,
We have
Spirit
our-
Guides with
All right, look for this.
bouncing logo. Dreamcast.
so
You can catch us there.
Also, Historic Fleetwood Church LLC
Yep.
is a page. You can get us there too.
We're the stewards there.
Mhm.
And if anybody's interested, as soon as it warms up, we're going to open it up for investigations again.
Yeah, the church isn't
Private,
heated.
or we can guide you.
So let us know if you're interested in investigating
It
the
doesn't
Fleetwood
cost
Church.
much.
It's very reasonable, and we'll help you out in doing that. So
We're definitely game for that one.
please do.
Well, Donnie,
Yeah.
we very much appreciate you guys coming on the podcast,
Thank you.
and we will most definitely talk to you guys again soon.
All right.
And
Thank you.
and with the way we always sign off, peace,
Peace,
love,
love,
and ghosts.
I love it, you guys.
Merry
All
Christmas
right, Merry
all
Christmas,
and
good
Happy New
night.
Year.
Merry Christmas to y'all too, and a Happy New Year.
Take care.
All right, guys. This ends another edition of ShadowZone Paranormal. I am Brian, and unfortunately, it is that time to sign off. And for all you guys out there, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, however you take it. And we will be back in January with some brand new content. Until then, have a ghoulish night.